RuneScape is a video game. Thank you everybody. And if you've played RuneScape before, you may have noticed that the land of Gielinor is covered in a variety of different monsters, some being incredibly powerful and others not so much. A commonality shared between them is that they all have access to different drop tables, which can include upgrades for your account such as weapons and armor. Being a chunk locked account, I don't get to choose what I kill or the order in which upgrades are unlocked. I'm locked to the areas that I roll, and in the last episode we unlocked the Corsair Cove chunk along with the Corsair Cove dungeon. This dungeon is home to RuneScape's thickest, most attractive. This dungeon is home to the OSRS Shamans, and they drop a rune battle axe as well as a few other armor upgrades that will greatly increase my DPS in future PvM related chunk tasks. So that will be today's primary focus, acquiring the rune battle axe. Now that we have that out of the way, roll the intro and let's get started. This is Chunk Token, a semi-Xtreme-ish one-chunk Iron Man. My account has been locked to chunks around RuneScape, and I can only progress after completing a series of tasks in each chunk. My goal? To beat RuneScape just one chunk at a time. Let's get to it. I know I talked about how the Rune Battle Axe would be the primary focus for today's episode, and it will be, but there are a few other tasks in this chunk that I have to complete before I can roll again, so I'd like to briefly remind you all of what they are. First, we do have another Fletching grind. We need 65 in order to process the rubies and diamonds into bolt tips, since we unlocked that gem shop over there. Next, we'll need 70 cooking. We have access to the food shop in Alderan, and it just so happens that the OSRS Shamans drop salmon. We have all of the components to make and bake an Admiral Pie, so we'll have to do exactly that to clean up the cooking requirement. We also finally get to train crafting. We only need level 43 to cut a diamond, but like I talked about before, I'm going to go ahead and process all the molten glass that I have in my bank from the previous chunk. I currently have 5,000 in the bank, so I'm guessing we'll be in the mid-60s by the time that's said and done. And last but not least, we need to catch some anchovies. This is absolutely no problem. We got very lucky with fishing random events in the last chunk, and we're well past the required level of 15 to take care of that. I want to start with the Fletching first. After spending nearly 200 hours in the last chunk to hit level 60, I don't want this grind looming over me while I work on completing the other chunk tasks. I want to actually be able to enjoy the combat training we finally get to work on. Plus, I want to show you a hidden gem I missed in the last episode when I was exploring my new chunks. Just look at this beautiful thing. A singular oak tree, just tucked away in the back corner of my chunk. I am always more than happy to do any crazy grind that comes my way. I will complain about it, but I'll do it happily. That being said, little things like this that give me a little bit of AFK time that streamline the task, man, I'm just so grateful for it, and I'm so glad that I found this. It's such a little blessing. And that oak tree is exactly where I've been for the last few days. All the way up to level 65 fletching, which we'll get here off of this inventory of oak logs. We've just been making oak longbows and selling them off to this shopkeeper here, and we've made a pretty decent amount of GP. And also, we're only 90,000 experience away from level 75. So, you may have noticed in the last clip that I've been working on something other than fletching in the background too, and that would be cooking. And I'm already up to level 65, and I want to show you what I've been doing to get it up so high so quickly. But first I'm going to use this lamp real quick on Slayer for level 14 Slayer. We got nothing from that, but that's one closer to 48 that we will eventually need when we unlock Perilous Moons. We'll take it. Now back to cooking. So this fine gentleman right here, Mr. Faustus, happens to have 5 grapes in his shop stock. The lovely shopkeeper that we've been selling all of our bows to happens to sell 15 empty jugs. And we happen to have this lovely fountain here right in the very corner of our chunk. And when you put all that together, what does that spell? It spells grape jug fountain. Oh, and we can also make wines too. So the grind that I thought was going to take the longest is actually going to be one of the quickest. I was averaging close to 40 to 50,000 experience an hour making wines and world hopping, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and knock out 70 before I leave Aldrin and start focusing on combat training. And with this final inventory here, we managed to hit 70 cooking. We now have the ability to cook Admiral Pies. So once we get that salmon drop from the Odorous Warriors, we'll be able to knock that chunk task out. Really wasn't too bad of a grind at all, to be honest. It only took me like 4 to 5 hours to finish up, I think, from level 65. And I definitely wasn't playing as efficiently as I could have been, courtesy of being slightly distracted by my rewatching of Criminal Minds.
Just keep it clean and don't call me honey.
We are now ready to start training our combat skills. We've got an inventory full of cooked rabbits and bread here, and let's take a look at our gear. We are absolutely stacked on gear. We've got our Ironman plate legs, our steel plate body that we got from a mystery box in episode 1. We've got our Tyrus helm, and our iron dagger and an oak shield that I made. I do have a willow shield too, but unfortunately I need 30 defense before I can wield that. And of course, last but not least, we have the gold necklace, the beekeeper boots, and the beekeeper's gloves, because it is just absolute fashionscape. So we're gonna be killing these level 16 thieves here, the same ones that we killed in episode 1 for that bronze medium helmet. They just have more HP than the seagulls, and I don't remember them hitting super often, so I don't think we're gonna go through a ton of food, but I think it'll be faster overall than training on the seagulls. So if we take a look at our starting stats here, we have 20 attack, 22 strength, and level 10 defense. I think the game plan is going to be to get 40s across the board here before we go to Ogre Shaman, since we have to equip a Rune Kite Shield and a Rune Battle Axe for chunk tasks anyways. But I think that'll be a good starting point. More than likely we're going to have to flinch them anyways, but if we can expedite the process a little bit with, 40 strength, maybe even 50 strength, that would be nice. So worst case scenario, we can always reevaluate and come back and train later. But for now, we'll go ahead and let the bloodbath begin, and I'll come back with when we hit some cool milestones. Okay, so I might have been getting slapped around a little bit by thieves, so we went to Seagulls and got 20 defense. Now we head back and train as intended. Alrighty, and there is 30 strength coming in. Getting 20 defense at Seagulls was definitely the play. I've used a lot less food. And there is 30 attack and 30 defense coming in. Only 10 levels to go in attack, strength, and defense before we can start the Odorous Warrior grind. And with 30 defense, we get to use our new and improved Willow Shield too. And here comes 40 strength. We are breezing through these levels now. Won't be too terribly long until we finish up 40 attack and 40 defense. And speaking of, here comes 40 attack, and there is 40 defense. We've now technically finished all the combat level requirements for this chunk by hitting base 40s in attack, strength, and defense, as we'll be able to equip both the rune weapons and rune armor that we'll get from killing the Odorous Warriors. We also managed to hit level 40 in hit points and level 29 in prayer too, which is a great start on working towards level 43 for unlocking protection prayers for the future. I think the only thing left to do now is head on over to the Corsair dungeon and figure out our best method for killing these things. I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot of flinching, as even with my current stats, I still took pretty consistent damage from thieves, which are level 16, and Odorous Warriors are level 83, so yeah. Unfortunately, flinching is going to have to be the play here. I took way too much damage trying to attack it head on, and it's taken me around 13 minutes to get this Odorous Warrior down to the HP it's currently at, so my guess is it's going to be around 4 kills per hour. And let's see what we get from this first kill here. Can we be so lucky as to spoon the Rune Battle Axe on kill number 1? No, never lucky. But I will actually take the Mind Runes though. We don't have any good methods of magic training in our current or upcoming chunks based on quick glances over the chunk map, so we are on kill number 5 here, so a little over an hour in, and we've gotten some runes and arrow drops. Really happy to see that, because like magic training, we don't have a lot of methods to train ranged right now either. So even if this grind takes a little while, hopefully we can build up somewhat of a reserve to train those skills should we need them in the future before unlocking more consistent means of training. In kill number 5, what are we getting? Ooh, the Mithril Kite Shield. I expected this one earlier on. It's only like 1 in 16, unlike the rune counterparts, which are dropped at a rate of 1 in 100. But it's an armor upgrade and a chunk task knocked out, so we'll gladly take that. As you can see in my inventory here, I managed to snag some cosmic runes, and while I don't have the magic level right this very second, I do have gold bars, balls of wool from when we had to kill imps, and a ton of gems in my bank. Once I process all the molten glass in my bank and get access to a consistent form of magic training, we'll be able to make some really nice jewelry upgrades for the account in the future. Unfortunately, I am a terrible YouTuber and missed the kill, but we managed to snag another one of our required items for the chunk, the Rune Medhelm. We got it on our 11th kill, so just about 3 hours into the grind so far. But if this is a sign of things to come, I think we'll have the rest of these tasks wrapped up pretty quickly. Ooh, that is unlucky. Our very first dupe. And it was practically back to back to the very first one we got. Could have been a rune battle axe, but at least we'll be able to sell it for some decent money later on. Hey, the first salmon drop. Hopefully we get a few more of these before the grind is over, but at least we have one banked for the Admiral Pie task we need to complete. Oh my gosh, it happened. We spooned the rune battle axe. 27 kills in, so it did take a little over 7 hours of flinching with the iron dagger, but that is it. We've just massively increased our DPS, and it should increase our kills per hour by quite a bit. And we also look like an absolute unit as well. Okay, so fast forward about 15 hours, and we just got the very last drop we needed to complete this chunk. The Rune Full Helm is ours at 104 kill count. And absolutely spooned. It's so great. The Rune Battle Axe sped this up so much, and I'm so glad we got this drop early on. We finished this section of the chunk so quickly. So much quicker than I thought we would. But not really. We aren't done just yet. Let me take this helmet off so we can make direct eye contact while I deliver to you this scary revelation. We can be uncomfortable together. During these last 100 or so kills, I managed to absolutely spoon the curve bone at less than 20 kills into the grind, and which for those of you who may not know, is a very rare item that drops at a rate of 1 in 5,000. I decided to socialize, which is where everything went wrong. Sending Doge a screenshot of the spoon, he congratulated me on completing the chunk task. The problem? It wasn't a chunk task at all. Upon further inspection, and while on his high horse, Doge revealed to me that I never turned on collection log as a chunk task when he looked at my map. I'm not sure if that's something I accidentally did when I selected the vanilla rule set, or if it's something that should have just been active from the start, but the good news is that looking back at my previous chunks, this wouldn't have mattered anyways, so I didn't miss anything then. The bad news is that this adds the long bone as a chunk task, which is dropped at a rate of 1 in 400, as well as the odorous Shaman Mask, which is dropped at a rate of 1 in 1200. I thought about whether or not to leave my rules as they were, or make the change, but it just didn't feel right not including them. Not only did I get very lucky with the Rune Battle Axe, putting me in a spot where I can kill the odorous warriors at a much more reasonable rate, but the longer videos I'm working on for my main account are heavily collection log focused. I'm always open to the idea of a longer grind, and to be honest, I try to play more like an extreme chunker when I can because I've enjoyed the challenge that an account build like this brings. I call myself semi-extreme because there's some things I don't do, and that's just the more honest approach. So all of that to basically say we've extended the grind for this chunk and future chunks by a bit. So if you liked today's video, give it a like, and maybe even subscribe for future content. Or feel free to leave a comment too. You could say something like the last 4 digits of your social security number, or even your mother's maiden name. That also helps, but just in a different way. So where does that leave us now? Well, to be honest, it really doesn't change much at all. The only thing that changes in my plan is finishing the crafting grind first. We only need 43 crafting to cut a diamond, but we are going to process all 5,000 buckets of sand into molten glass, and then process that molten glass as well. I would typically save an AFK grind for the end to finish the chunk up on a more relaxed note, but because the Shaman Mask could take a very long time to get, I'd rather be completely focused on the combat aspect as motivation to finish out the last few tasks. With that said, let's go ahead and get to glass making. I'm really excited to see where we end up after using all 5,000 of these. Level 10 crafting coming in, the first little milestone of this crafting grind we're on. And here is level 20 crafting. And we're coming up on a pretty cool milestone here, level 23 crafting, and that puts us at 600 total level. We are flying through the levels now. Level 30 crafting coming in, and level 40 crafting coming in. It's been a minute since I've shown you guys some cool lamping progress here. Let's go ahead and use this lamp on Slayer, and we will be hitting level 19. Making some good progress here. Alrighty, and as we finish up this inventory here, we're going to be hitting level 49 crafting. Definitely the last level we're going to be getting from making the molten glass, but we do have 5,000 of them to process, so we'll still be getting a ton of crafting levels after this. We have just finished making the last of the 5,000 molten glass, so it is time to go ahead and start turning those into unpowered orbs. I decided to do orbs instead of the lantern lenses because there really isn't a huge difference in experience, and in the future, if I ever roll an altar where I can make air orbs or water orbs, I want to be able to get the additional crafting XP as well as the additional GP too if I can high out those staffs. So yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and blow through this real fast. And we've got that first level coming in pretty quickly after the last clip, 50 crafting. Can now make mahogany birdhouses. Pretty sweet if we ever get to that section of Gilmore. And level 60 crafting coming in. So we've gone through pretty much the majority of the molten glass. We're coming up on the last level that we are going to get with what we've got, which will be level 62 crafting. I'm honestly really content with that. I didn't expect to get that far along into the crafting grind, but any early levels we can knock out like that for any future crafting grind, I am all here for. Plus, when we unlock magic in the future, we'll be able to make a strength damage pretty much right off the rip. That'll be a great little account upgrade in the future. Well, that will conclude all of the stealing requirements for this chunk, so I suppose it's time to go ahead and head back to the Corsair Cove, where we will likely be spending a very, very long time to finish the last two chunk tests that we have. We are so back, baby. Coming in with 50 strength already. We're coming up on 300 kills done, and no luck yet on the Longbone or the Shaman Mask. However, we have been getting pretty lucky on rune item drops, which will translate to money for us once we've unlocked High Out or have access to a better store to sell to, so that's definitely a positive. I also think I'm going to go ahead and switch the training attack now, and slowly start to work my way up to level 50 in that too. Now, in that same light, we did get an XP lamp, and I want to go ahead and put that on Slayer, because we are going to get 21 Slayer. Not too bad, didn't get anything from that level, but that's okay. Just another one closer to working towards unlocking Perilous Moons once we get there. So we'll happily take that. Hey, and there is level 50 attack coming in. You can now wield granite weaponry, which is pretty neat. Gonna go ahead and switch back to strength now and start making progress towards level 60, and hope that we see the Longbone and the Shaman Mask before we get there. So we're coming up to around 60 to 70 hours into the grind so far, and while I do want to get the drops, I must say, look at this inventory. Look at how stacked this is. 2 rune battle axes, 3 rune med helms, and 3 rune full helms. That is absolutely insane, not to mention all the runes that we've got at the bottom there too. I feel like we're gonna be pretty stacked by the time this grind is over. We are back in the cave now, and quite some time has passed since the last clip. We're coming up on 54 strength and 60 combat. We're definitely making some solid gains here. We also just hit 700 total kills, and I want to throw the loot up on the stream for you all so you can kind of see how the supplies are coming along so far. We're still stacking a ton ton of rune armor and weapons, which will be great cash in the future. Our stockpile of runes and arrows have been building quite nicely, and you can't forget about the prayer experience we're getting along the way, bearing big bones too. A massive level coming in here, 60 strength, which unlocks the Dragon Warhammer for us, and I'm sure we will be unlocking that at any moment. You guys will never believe this, but believe it or not, more time has passed, and we just hit level 54 attack. Checking in here with another milestone, we just hit 1,000 total kills. All the loot's going to be up on the screen if you guys want to take a look. Obviously, the amount of rune items that we've got has grown exponentially. Same with the number of runes we've got and arrows as well. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. Finally, we get one of the items. 20 kills later, and we managed to snag a longbone. So, a little over 2.5 times for the rate, but I'm going to be honest, I don't care, because we were probably going to be going closer to 1,200, if not more, for the Shaman Mask anyways, which we still need to get. It's the last item, but for now, I celebrate this victory. It is so great to finally see a collection lord pop up. Oh, and also, the very next kill got us 37 prayer, finally unlocking our very first protection prayer. Protect from magic. What a great little milestone. I don't know about you, but I'm not quite ready just yet to live down the high of actually completing the chunk task. We've been good. I think we deserve just a little treat. I think it's time that we go ahead and actually knock out the task that we did all the skilling for, starting with fletching a ruby into arrow tips. And secondly, cutting a diamond. Next, I want to go ahead and knock out the Admiral Pie, which actually means that I need to head back to the Corsair Cove real quick because I don't know how to read, and apparently there is a tuna spawn somewhere in the Corsair Cove, and that just so happens to be a part of the Admiral Pie. There's also a spot to fish on the Corsair Cove Island, and that's where we're going to catch our anchovies, which is another chunk task. And there it is. That was pretty quick. Talk about 2 fish, 1 net. Please kill me. Well, sure enough, there is indeed a tuna spawn. I'm going to world hop and grab 10 of them, I think, just in case. And there we are. We managed to grab 10 of them. That has to be enough, right? I'm not jinxing myself. I guess we'll see. Now, this is what I'm talking about, man. The iron life that some people will just never get to truly experience. Getting to make your own pie dish, that's just grade A content. Alright, so we've got a flour spawn, so we're able to make our pastry dough. We'll go ahead and throw this in the dish as we walk over to buy some potatoes from the food shop, as that seems to be a component in this Admiral Pie. We'll go ahead and buy 3 for now. Or 2. I guess, because I can't count. Oh, and then one last thing. I do need to cook the tuna to be able to make it a part of the pie, so we'll go ahead and knock that out real fast. Alright, so I believe you use the salmon first, and then a tuna, and then the potato. Brilliant. Now, is it possible that we first try this? What are the chances? Yeah, I didn't think so. Hey! There it is. Only took 2 tries, but we have officially cooked the Admiral Pie. Well, I think that sums up all of the skilling tasks. I think it's time we head over to the chunk picker and cross off everything we just completed. Alright, I have been waiting to do this for quite some time. This is gonna feel pretty darn good, I'm not gonna lie. Let's go through these one by one, just make sure that we've done everything. I know that we have, but you know what? Never hurts to double check, right? So we have most certainly wielded a rune weapon. We just completed the Admiral Pie. We have cut a diamond. We have worn rune armor. We caught anchovies, and we have cut ruby bolt tips. Next, we have already done all of the best in slot tasks as well. We have the rune full helm. We have the mithril kite shield. We've obtained the rune battle axe, the rune med helm, and of course obtained iron arrows. Last and certainly not least, we absolutely spooned that curved bone at 17 kill count, I believe. Super lucky that we're not still going for that, so lovely. And of course, the most recent addition is the long bone, meaning all we have left to do to complete the chunk is obtain the Shaman Mask. Well, I guess the only thing left to do is gear back up and get back into that cave and keep killing Ogress warriors. Let's go get that Shaman Mask. A quick and very deserved level 55 attack coming in right out of the gate. Level 56 attack coming in, and we've also got a lamp to go ahead and use on Slayer. And when we do, we are going to be getting level 25, and we can now kill Cockatrice. We are making progress. A nice little hit points level coming in, just hit level 55 HP. Level 57 attack coming in, getting ever closer to that level 60. Coming in with another kill count milestone here, we just hit 1200, which is the drop rate for the Shaman Mask, and unfortunately we have not seen one yet, so anything going forward will be considered dry. But if you take a look at the loot here, we are still amassing a ton of rune items, tons of runes, tons of arrows, tons of very beneficial things for the account in the future, so I really can't complain, but it definitely would be nice to see the mask soon. Another quick little level update. We just hit level 58 attack. Level 59, just one to go. Hey, and there is 60 attack coming in. Was kind of hoping not to see this. We're already up to just shy of about the halfway point to 1400 kills so far. Was hoping to get the mask before then, but that's okay. You know, we can now wield dragon weaponry, the colossal blade, the Karis partisan for when we get to the TOA area in like 3.5 years, so that's pretty neat. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on defense, I guess, and see how far we can get with, you know, however long this takes, I suppose. Hopefully we don't see 60 defense, but if we do, I mean, at least that's a good start on melee stats. We just hit our first little milestone here with defense and reached level 45. The kills are still going pretty strong. Hey, and there is 48 defense rolling in, and I believe that also puts us at, yeah, 70 combat, which is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy, not gonna lie. But while we're here, let's go ahead and get 26 Slayer as well. The levels really are flying in still. We are now at level 50 defense and a little over 1500 kill count. Looks like we might be going to level 60 defense here. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. It finally happened. At 1567 kill count, we have acquired the mask and completely finished the chunk. Look how beautiful this thing is. It's so stupid. It's absolutely worthless, but it's mine. And we did it. We did it. It's done. We can now finally roll a chunk. Hundreds of hours of flinching later, just want to say thanks to the Onechunk clan for being so supportive. They have kept me sane over the last few weeks. Before we roll, I do quickly want to go over all the progress that we've made in this episode, because I know it was kind of fast-paced, but we really did make a lot of progress in this episode. Looking at our levels here, we got all the way to 60 attack, 60 strength, 51 defense, 57 HP, 39 prayer with not a ton to go to 40 in unlocking our second protection prayer, and overall we just bumped up a ton of skills like cooking, crafting, fletching we gained a few levels, and Slayer we made massive progress. I think at the beginning of the episode we were at level 14, so we got really lucky on all of the lamps that we got throughout this episode. And not to mention our overall total level. We surpassed 4 million total experience, which is insane, and I think we started at below a 440 total. It was around that amount that we started with in the episode, and it's insane that we reached over 700 in this episode, so tons of progress there. And not even just the levels. If we take a look at the bank here, look at all these arrows we got. I know that it's not a ton, like in the grand scheme of things, but we haven't trained ranged at all yet, so I feel like that's a really good starting point for whatever we need to. Plus, 44 rune med helms, 11 rune full helms, 14 battle axes, and 88 mithril kite shields. We have quite a bit of GP in the future once we unlock the ability to high out, or if we get to a general store that buys for a decent price. So I would say we're set in the future on cash for quite some time. We also got a pretty decent amount of runes from the grind too. Similar to the arrows, it's nothing earth-shattering, but we don't have access to any magic store right now. So it's definitely nice knowing that we have some of the bank for just anything we might need them for in the future until we actually unlock a rune shop. And last but not least, I think it's time we lay this Shaman Mask to rest, where it will more than likely stay forever, but at least we have it. Alright, so here we are on the chunk picker, and the very first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and just check off this very last collection log here, as we have acquired the Shaman Mask, and that was the very last chunk task needed to complete our chunk. So firstly, before we roll, I do want to talk about why the Rune Battle Axe was such a nice upgrade. If we go a little further north here, we could theoretically start rolling towards Huey, and that would have been horrendous to do with an Iron Dagger until it dropped a Rune Mace. So we do have a head start there, which is incredibly nice if we do indeed start rolling to the north. And secondly, we do have the ability to start rolling into Port Sarim, and now it would require rolling north into Port Sarim as well, and then rolling the 7th chunk here to unlock Royal Titans, but that would definitely not be a grind that I would want to do with an Iron Dagger. So having that Rune Battle Axe and some of those arrows and some of those runes, which I mean we would get access to a rune shop in the north of Port Sarim if we rolled that, but having all that stuff ahead of time would make Royal Titans, if we rolled into that, a little bit more doable. So that's why it was so nice to roll something like the Rune Battle Axe and have that ahead of time, just in case we did roll into that section of the map. But outside of that, just like before, we do have a couple of other chunks down here by the Corsair Cove that we could roll. We have a few chunks here on Alderaan, which would be kind of nice to roll into as well, get access to a bank right next to that food shop, so that way if we get like a really long cooking grind, we would actually be able to bank the drapes and the jugs and kind of do it all at once instead of having to world hop like a whole bunch. That would be a nice time save. And of course, we still have access to all the other charter ships such as Port Khazard. We have access to Brimhaven. We could even theoretically start rolling into Catherby, which would be really interesting, kind of breaking ground into some new territory on the mainland. We could roll Chunk 7 without rolling into Port Sarim, and we could start unlocking the right-hand side of Karanja. And then, like I said earlier, we could theoretically roll into Port Sarim too. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna jinx myself by saying this, but I've had a gut feeling for the last month and a half that when we did finally roll, we were going to roll into Port Sarim, and I feel like we're gonna do it back to back. And if that's wrong, of course you can laugh at me. I will laugh at myself too, but I've had this very strong gut feeling, and I know that's unlikely, but in episode 2, we rolled back-to-back chunks into Corsair Cove, and then right into the dungeon that led to the grind that we did in this video. So I think that's what's gonna happen. But no more dilly-dallying. Let's go ahead and actually roll and see if my gut feeling will come to fruition. Oh, and just real quick, the last time we rolled was June 1st, and today is August 2nd, so it's been a little bit. Alrighty, here we go. No more milking it. Where do we spend the next many months of our life? Outer Fortis Docks. Does that have anything? Oh, okay. Smelt a bronze bar and obtain a rune mace. Oh, okay. I can just buy it. So this is pretty much a free chunk. Okay, alright. Well, let's go do that real fast. Alright, well, first and foremost, let's go ahead and actually unlock this chunk and get rid of that nasty gray overlay. And we unlock a new music track, very nice. Alright, we have found Spikes. It's a very clever name for a store. 18,000 coins, beautiful. We have obtained a rune mace. So that battle axe grind was kind of moot, because we would have had a rune weapon for Royal Titans and Huey anyways, but that's okay. Now I need to figure out where to get the copper and tin, because we have to smith a bronze bar. I'm assuming there's a mine maybe down here? I don't know, I don't see one. Oh, okay, I see. So we have sand crabs in our chunk, which is great if we have to train any more melee or just ranged or magic in the future. But they actually drop tin and copper ore. So I'm gonna go gear up. I'm going to kill these guys until I get those drops, and then we will be back. We will smelt that bronze bar, and we will roll again. Alright, so I know this is like a free chunk and all, but first off, I forgot how much faster the rune mace is than the rune battle axe. And secondly, oh my gosh, these things are amazing XP. I'm like flying through a defense level just trying to get this copper ore. We did get the tin already, spooned that pretty early on, but I guess I'm just so used to these killing Ogress shamans that take forever. They were such terrible XP that these things are just amazing. I kind of just want to chill here for a bit and kill them. But yeah, what a great chunk. It's free, but it's great for the future. Okay, so that definitely took a little bit longer than anticipated. I had to kill 181 of them for a copper ore drop, but there is the bronze bar smelted. Also, look at how many levels we got during that. We went from 51 to 55 defense, and we got 58 HP too. It took us from 70 to 72 combat. I might be in love with sand crabs. Alright, let's roll another chunk. Alright, let's go ahead and check these 2 chunk tasks off real quick. And we have finished the outer docks. No milking, let's go ahead and just roll right away. Oh no. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's mining. Let's see. Yep, 55 mining. Mine a mithril ore. I know I probably seemed disappointed in the last clip. Honestly, I'm really not. There are far worse mining grinds, and grinds in general out there, to do. And 55 is honestly going to be a great start for whenever we do roll into those mining chunks. So, honestly, I'm really not mad at all, and I'm glad that we kind of get to start getting this out of the way now. And as always, let's go ahead and get rid of that terrible gray overlay. And voila, we can see. So in this chunk, we do have access to a masonry store, limestone bricks, marble blocks, gold leaves, magic stone, and condensed gold. I do not foresee any of this being relevant in the nearish future, but eventually I'm sure this will be nice to have for construction training, which is pretty cool. We do also have a place to fish sharks in our chunk, so eventually whenever we get access to a harpoon, that's gonna suck because we really don't have any good methods of training fishing right now other than literally anchovies. So hopefully by the time we get a harpoon, we have a better fishing method. Otherwise it's going to be a slow grind, but we will be able to fish sharks. And then of course the meat and potatoes of the chunk, the actual mine itself. There's clay rocks, there's iron, there's silver, there's coal, there's mithril, of course, and gold ore. So tons of resources here available if they're ever needed in the future, which is great, honestly. The game plan will be to get 15 mining from clay rocks, and then switch to iron until level 55, so we can mine the mithril ore and finish the chunk off. I'll be banking everything I mine, too. You never know when these ores will come in handy. If you made it this far into today's episode, I just want to say thank you. Genuinely. Whether it's your first time watching or you've seen the other videos I've put out, your support is incredibly appreciated. In the next episode, you'll see me wrap this chunk up rather quickly, and we'll dive right into chunk rolling and get into some exciting stuff. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.